It's me again. It's Champ. I promise I'll find a title for my blog soon. But if you got any idea, please write them down in the comments. Cause honestly, like usually I'm a little bit more creative than that. But right now, I really don't know. I really don't know how I should call it. So if you have an idea, just please help me out. Help a brother out. So yeah. So today it's gonna be really an interesting episode. Cause yesterday I was having an interesting conversation with a friend, and he asked me, "Yo, how's it going over there in Sosua? How is your business going?" And I was like so excited, and I was like, "Yo, honestly, it's going really well. I just shook hands with a new partner." And then he asked me a simple question. It was like, "How much are you charging them?" Then I told him, "Nothing." Right now my services are completely free, and I'm at this testing phase, right? So then, we were having a FaceTime conversation, and they looked at me like all confused, and it was like, "You're getting your clients used to getting things for free. So how are you gonna be able to charge them for something when they always received it for free?" Then I tried to explain that I wasn't focused on making money right now. That what I was focused on was building relationships and building asset. Then they looked at me again. He said, "Okay, maybe I'm the idiot, but honestly, I don't understand your business model." So, that conversation stayed with me, not because he was wrong, but actually, I think he brought up some legitimate concern. Because for a long time, I used to think that, you know, doing business, you should always give to eventually receive. And, when you say give to receive, as if it was like just like a motivational quote, but for me, I was really living it, but because the more I do business, the more I realize that it's actually a business principle. And it's not really because like something gonna magically happens to reward you when you be giving, but because yeah, giving value always comes before getting value in return. Like if you think about it, think for a business that makes its first dollar. It has to create something valuable before it makes its first dollar. So before you earn someone's trust, you have to prove yourself. And again, before somebody recommends you, you have to give them a reason to recommend you. And I feel like revenue usually is a consequence of the value that you bring, not the starting point. Like, for example, if you look at Costco, they give out free samples. It's not because they're trying to be nice. They're removing what we call the uncertainty. Because before you buy something, you're not sure about the price or whatever. You want to try it first. So they let you experience the product before you ask to buy it. Even the software companies do the same thing. They give free trials. Amazon offers free shipping. They're not giving things because they're feeling generous. They're reducing the customer's risk. So I learned this lesson years ago when I started a car washing business. For my very first customers, I was offering 50% off. So financially, it wasn't really making sense because I was barely making money. In some cases, I was probably losing more money after paying supplies, gas, and all the hours I spent cleaning cars. But I wasn't trying to maximize profit. I was trying to maximize trust. So the first customers gave me something that was much more valuable than the money I would get. They gave me the experience, confidence, more referrals, great reviews, and the most important thing, they proved that people were actually willing to pay for what I was offering. So that's exactly how I see Destinos VIP today. So right now, I'm not charging my first partners. I'm sending them customers for free. Some people might look at it and think, "Bro, you're giving away your services. You're giving away your services, whatever, blah blah." But how I see it is just that I'm investing. And I feel like every customer helped me build something that is much more valuable than a few dollars today. I'm building proof, testimonials, data, trust, relationships. Imagine you walk into a restaurant today and you be like, "Yo, pay me every month and I'll bring you customers." They have every reason to be skeptical because who are you? But imagine if I come back a month later to that same restaurant and I'm like, "Yo, last month I sent you 50 customers. Here's the data. Here's what they spent. Here's where they come from. And here's what your staff said about the experience. So now, pay me." So, it's no longer selling a promise. I'm presenting evidence. And that's what's completely different. You know, Here's actually what I agree with my friend, because there is a risk when you offer something for free. Some people will absolutely get used to it. Some will never pay for your service. And if my entire business model was based on giving away my services for free, I think you'd be right. But that's not my business model. Free isn't the product. Free is my customer is my free is my customer acquisition strategy, right? So I'm not teaching people that my services has no value. I'm removing the risk of saying yes because they literally have nothing to lose. So there's a big difference. And one thing I've noticed that we live in a society that's obsessed with immediate results, and money is the result. And many people would rather have $100 today than to build a relationship that can be worth millions over the next 10 years. And I understand why, because cash flow matters. Businesses need money to survive. But sometimes we become so focused on today's transaction that we forget that we're also building tomorrow's reputation. Let me say that again. Sometimes we become more focused on today's transaction that we forget that we're also building tomorrow's reputation. And I also think that one of the reasons why some entrepreneurs struggle, it's because I feel like they believe that when they have a great product, people should automatically buy it. But that's not how it really works, because nobody owes you their business. It doesn't matter how good your product is, because if people don't know you, if people don't trust you, they don't understand the value you bring. Well, I don't claim to have the perfect business model, because maybe I'll look back in 5 years from now and I'll be like, damn, I made a lot of mistakes. Maybe, but I'm still testing. I'm experimenting and I'm learning as I go. But if there's one principle that remained constant throughout every business that I've built, it is I always try to create value before asking value in return. Sometimes that value comes through knowledge, a discount, referrals. Sometimes it's simply by helping someone with no expectation of getting anything back immediately. Because even if my strategy changes over time, that principle will every time be the same. And one principle that always stayed with me when I was back in my days in church, it's a verse that says, "Give and it shall be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." It's Luke 6:38. And my old fucking crooked pastor used to use that verse to have you giving money, saying that, oh, if you give $10, God will multiply it. Rah, rah, rah. Nah, I don't see it as a promise that if you give $10, you'll magically get 20 back or 100 back. I see it as a principle. When you constantly give value, when you give trust, when you create opportunities for others, those things often come back to you through relationships, reputation, credibility, and doors that money alone cannot open. To me, that's exactly what's happening with Destinos VIP. I'm giving value first, not because I expect immediate return, but because I believe that trust is earned before it is monetized. There's another important distinction though. Giving isn't the same as sacrificing, because if someone keeps taking from you, creating value without creating value for both sides, this is not generosity. That's being taken advantage of. So the goal isn't to give endlessly. The goal is to create value strategically. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not giving away customers. I'm buying trust. I'm buying business. Trust is the most valuable assets you can own. And maybe my friend is right. Maybe some of these partners will never pay me. And that's a risk I'm willing to take. Because if I can build a network of people who genuinely trust me, a network that constantly creates value for everyone involved, I believe that it's worth far more than the money that I could make today. So maybe the principle isn't actually giving to receive. Maybe the principle is creating value first and let the result show for themselves. So this is some food for thought. Think about it. And like I said, I might not be a genius, a guru of business, but I'm learning as I go. And with the experience that I have so far, this is the way that I choose to build my business model on. And most of my entrepreneurship um, plans or project are built around the same thing, creating value first. So I give a lot. I tend to give too much. But to me, that's the way that I like doing business. And one thing that we're going to talk about probably in the next few weeks is that whatever you do, you need to be passionate and have fun. And I'm telling you, building relationships, creating value, sending more business to local entrepreneurs right now, that's a lot of fun. And this is what I'm doing right now. I'm enjoying it. So whatever. Follow me for more. That's okay. So I'm officially becoming an influencer. I'm saying the phrases, follow me for more. Whatever. I'm just having fun right now. So thanks for watching again and see you on the next episode. Peace.